So in today's video, I am going to try a new method of seed starting. It's called winter sowing. I've never done this before yet in my 2 years of gardening adventures, and I have decided I'm going to try to winter sow some lavender and some rosemary. So I have a couple of old jugs that my mom gave me from, they're like tea jugs, milk jugs, and I'm going to turn those into containers that I'm going to fill with soil and set outside actually in my garden and let them get used to this cold weather. And then once the ground warms up and the soil warms up, then they're supposed to sprout and take off. So I don't know, I have never done winter sowing, so we're gonna do this together and then follow along so you can see how my herbs and stuff are going from the winter sowing. So there's two things that I'm going to try to winter sow: rosemary and lavender. So I really want to get a lavender patch going, and someday I would love to have a whole garden bed full of lavender. And right now I have a bunch of dried lavender that I purchased from Star West Botanicals. So you can get herbs online if you don't grow them yet, which I have not, on the lavender. And so I have my dried lavender here, which I have been using, but I got a bunch of lavender seed packets, and I actually discovered that there's a couple different varieties of, well, there's probably more than two, but there are some varieties of lavender, and the one that I have right here is called Vera lavender or common lavender. And this one is not going to flower in the first year. That's what I didn't know, is there's lavender that flowers first year, and then there's lavender that will flower the second year. And so I am going to start the seeds by the winter sowing method for the Vera lavender. And this is going to be a second year flowering lavender. So I'm hoping to just get it started, get it going. And I'm going to try two different methods for the cold stratification, because rosemary does need some cold stratification to grow. Not rosemary, lavender, sorry. Lavender requires some cold stratification to get it going. And then I struggled last year with rosemary. And so I'm going to just try, I think, a packet of rosemary with the winter sowing as well and see what happens. So that's going to be my plan. So the lavender, I'm going to try a couple different methods. We're going to do the winter sowing method in the jugs. Going to do one jug of that, and then I'm going to take the seeds and put them on a damp paper towel, and we are going to cold stratify them in my refrigerator for, it says 3 to 6 weeks. So it is about the middle of January or so right now. It's actually like the 17th. So here, probably mid-February, later February probably, I will check on them and see if the seeds have sprouted, because technically I think they sprout in the wet, damp paper towel, and then you take them out and then plant them individually in the trays. So we're gonna see what happens. I don't know, but this will be an adventure. So we are going to do that today, but I just wanted to show you guys the lavender that I purchased already, that I have a supply of, because I love this stuff so much and I didn't want to be without lavender. So I've got 2 jugs here that my mom gave me. These are tea jugs. And what I'm going to do is hopefully get a pair of scissors, and the plan is to go through and cut about so far up around on the jug, all the way around except to like where the handle is, around to this part, and then I'm going to leave that attached so that it can kind of fold back and forth or bend back and forth. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And then what I'm going to do is fill them with soil. I'm going to also put holes in the bottom so that the water can drain. And then I'm going to fill them up with soil, and we're going to plant the seeds in them, and I'm going to have to label them. And then we're going to put them in the garden, or just set them out there. And really all we're going to do is just set them outside. I probably wouldn't even have to put them on the garden. I think I'll just put them on my deck. We're just going to set these little guys out on the deck, and then we're going to see what happens. Hopefully my deck gets enough sun. It may not right now in the winter, because the sun sets in the south, so I may have to actually take these out to my garden. So that's what we'll do. We'll take them out to the garden, and that way I know they'll be getting enough sun, and we're going to see what happens. And we're going to see if I can successfully winter sow some herbs and flowers. So I'm not sure the best way to get this going, but I wonder if a box cutter would be easier than scissors. So we're gonna try it. Okay, so I just cut some slits in the bottom of it. Thought I would just show you kind of what those look like. Just did that with the box cutter. That was way easier than scissors. And, well, I feel like it was. And then we don't need these lids because we're gonna keep the lids off because that's how rain and stuff like that will get in. And I'm gonna go fill these up with soil and I'll be right back. All right, so I have got my soil in my containers and I'm just putting them in this box because with the holes I don't want to get dirt all over everywhere. And this is just a regular, honestly, just Miracle-Gro. It's not even a seed starting mix, it's just their potting mix, because I didn't have enough of seed starting mix to fill up the whole container, so I thought I'll just do it in potting mix. So we're gonna see how this goes. So first off, I'm gonna need to label these little puppies. Okay, so we got our lavender seeds here. And these little things are so tiny. So it says on the back to do 1/8 of an inch deep. So I think I'm just gonna surface sow and then just kind of pat them down into, and these are 1/4 inch deep. So these can go a little bit deeper on the rosemary. And I think what I'm gonna do, these little seeds are so super duper tiny. I'll try to bring them over and see if you guys can see how little they are. But these seeds are so super tiny that I think what I'm just gonna do is just kind of sprinkle them and see what we can do. And we're gonna call that one done. A lot of herb seeds are super tiny. The rosemary is a little bit bigger, but not a lot. So we're just gonna do the same thing and just kind of sprinkle it in. Okay, and then I'm just gonna pat these down. Okay, so there we go. We have the first stuff done. And then what I'm gonna do is just put duct tape around where I cut so that these will stay in place. Just do it in pieces so the wind won't blow them all crazy, hopefully. So these jugs are ready to go out to the garden, but before we go out there, we are going to take another packet of lavender and we are going to try the cold stratification method through the refrigerator. All right, so I have a damp paper towel here and all I did was run it under some cold water and then just completely wrung it out. And then we are going to see if we can scatter these lavender seeds around on this paper towel. All right, so now that we have them on the damp paper towel, I am just going to put them in here in a baggie. I wonder if I should, I think I'm gonna get a wider one because that's gonna be hard to get out. So I decided to go for a bigger one because if these actually sprout, it'll be a little easier to pull it in and out. So here we go. Now we're gonna see. I don't know, this is an adventure. I have never tried to cold stratify seeds, so we're gonna see. I'm just gonna put these in my refrigerator and see what happens. All right, so I'm putting on my coat because we're gonna have to walk these out to the garden. And thought you guys would just want to come along with me. All right, so here we go out to the garden. It kind of snowed a little bit this morning, like just briefly, like not, like you can kind of see it piled up on the deck and stuff. It was just a little snow shower, but now the sun's out. We haven't had much cold weather until now. The cold weather has finally come and it is very cold today. It's windy, but we're going to the garden. Whew, that wind is cold. So here we are, seeing the garden in January, absolutely dead. Nothing to it, but that's okay. So I think what I'm gonna do is maybe put these jugs in an area where there might be some wind protection because I just don't want them to blow away, and that is my fear. So I am going to, that might put them right in there. That might give me some wind protection. So there we go. I'm just gonna set them there. I don't know if they'll get enough light there. Maybe I'll set them in between here. I'm trying to figure it out. Set them in between my pots, maybe. There, I think that's what I'm gonna do, is just set them there between my pots. Now I'm gonna go get my water and we're gonna water them. So hopefully the water has not frozen. Being that it's in the teens, it's possible. But I just put it in my little watering pail because I realized I gotta water those things or those seeds aren't gonna be happy. So, oh, this wind is so cold, so cold. Let me throw this inside. And we're gonna grab the watering pail. We're gonna go do this. I would have to pick like the coldest day ever to want to winter sow, but hey, I guess that's what winter sowing's about, right? So here we go. Oh, my hands are frozen. I should have gloves on, but I'm not gonna be out here very much longer. Whew. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a little water in here. We're just gonna see what happens. So I'm sure that won't take long to freeze right up. Whew. But boy, with this wind, I'm just nervous that these are gonna blow away over here. I think I am gonna put them back in here where maybe there's a little bit of wind protection. And then I'll just have to come out and check on them. So I think that'll give them a little more wind protection over there. So, whew. Okay guys, it's so cold. My hands, I think, I can't even feel them, hardly. So we did it. We're gonna see what happens. I'm not hopeful of it. This is truly an adventure and you just never know what's gonna grow, but people say it works. We'll see. I will keep you posted for sure. So I wanted to come on here at the end of the video and just talk a little bit about lavender. I have been using lavender for several years. It's definitely one of my top favorite herbs to use. And as you know, I've kind of just starting to learn more about herbs, getting into a little bit of herbalism, and learn about their properties and how they can help support the system. Now, anything that I mentioned in this video, like I said earlier, is definitely just for educational and entertainment purposes only. It's not medical advice. And so definitely talk to your doctor before starting any kind of herbs or herbal protocol. Definitely talk to them and get their opinions, because sometimes there's medications that can interact with herbs, or herbs can cause interactions with them. So definitely you don't want to start anything without talking to your doctor. But lavender is a great herb. It is well known for its calming and soothing benefits, and many people will use it for, like, they'll spray it on their pillows at night before bed just to kind of help with some insomnia, help relax them and calm them. I know many years ago they had created I think it was like a baby magic or something like that, one of the baby baths, and they had lavender in it, and so it's known to just kind of help calm and soothe. And so if your child was fussy and not wanting to settle down for sleep, then they were advertising that you could use this baby bath, and it had lavender in it, and it would help kind of calm the baby down. So we all know that those are kind of very well known and common uses for lavender, definitely for that. And then for skin stuff, I don't think it's maybe as commonly known for the skin stuff, but I discovered that it's great for stings and burns and minor cuts and scrapes. Now, obviously nothing major, it's not going to heal that, but it's got some antibacterial properties to it, some anti-inflammatory properties to it. So it keeps, maybe potentially it could help, prevent an infection, or help with like inflammation. And I know, like with the sting, when my sister got stung by the wasp, it definitely helped keep the area not inflamed and get swollen and red and angry looking. So it's just definitely a great herb. And so I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about it. So definitely can help with insomnia. It can help with any kind of muscle spasms, headaches. It kind of has some pain relieving properties with that anti-inflammatory and anti-spasmodic, which is like anti-spasmodic would mean it would help with like muscle spasms. So it definitely has some of those benefits and properties. And so you can turn it into, some people will just like make pillow sachets where they'll just put the fresh lavender and put it by their pillow. Sometimes they'll do the pillow sprays like I mentioned. They will put the little sachet maybe in their dresser drawer and keep their clothes smelling fresh. You can make infused oils out of it, which I did in a previous video. I had made a oil out of plantain and lavender, and then I did a salve for wounds. And so you can use it for that. You could do like a massage oil. There's many things that you could do. You could put the oil into your bath and have that. You could also do just fresh tea with it. Add it into some other teas like lemon balm or chamomile. Both of those are very good, well-known herbs that would help you kind of calm and relax. So those would just be some ideas for lavender. But I just wanted to kind of briefly come on here and talk a little bit more about it, and then let you guys know that my plan is to try to do this little kind of herb of the month series. And I will talk a little bit about the herb, and my plan is to get an email list going to where I actually would send you guys out like an email that would give you more information about the herb and the different properties and different places where you could find more information about the herb by looking up in different books. And so I hope to get that going by the end of the month. By the time this video comes out, I'm hoping to have my email list set up and ready to go. So if you're interested in that, definitely click down in the pinned comment below. I will have that down there. I'll also put it in the description link, but definitely sign up for my email list if you're interested. And I hope to, like I said, at least throughout this next year, do at least one email a month and potentially be doing two. I may do kind of like little letters from the garden from Just Nurse Court, and just kind of do where I am in my gardening season, and just stories that are going on that, the last couple weeks or so. So it'll be a little more personal, and so I'm kind of hoping to get that going. And if you guys are interested, definitely sign up down below and join my email list. So I hope you guys have a great one, and I will see you soon in the next one. Bye, friends.